Hello, in this video we're going to talk about escape codes. And escape codes are essentially special codes that you can put inside a string to do something special. And so what we do is we use a backslash inside of a string to indicate that the next character is going to be looked at differently, and then depending on what it is, we will do something different. And this can be useful in a variety of situations. So I'm going to show you some simple cases where we use escape codes. And then as you continue in your programming journey, you're going to see these pop up from time to time. And this is not just unique to Python. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do this. I wanted to print something like a quote. And the quote is something like, a moose with 3 shoes lacks nothing but a shoe. You know, a very deep philosophical quote. Now, if this is a quote and I run this, right, there's my quote. But I want to put quotations around it. So the question is, well, how do I do that? Because if I put a quotation in there, what that quotation tells us is that we're dealing with a string. So this is where an escape code is useful. So an escape code, what I want to do is if I put a backslash at the front and then a quote, what it does is there's my escape code, and that tells the program that the next thing it sees it's going to do something special with. And that special thing in this case is simply print out a quote. And then I come to the end and I put backslash quote. And so now when I run this, notice now I'm getting the quotes in there. So I'm using the escape code to tell the program to do something special with that quote in this case. Now it turns out Python has kind of identified this, because Python you can use single or double quotes, there's actually another way to solve this problem in Python. You could do this. So if you instead put your string inside single quotes, Python is smart enough to actually execute that and then treat this as a literal piece of text, which is a nice thing around Python. But the idea is that we can use escape codes for either single or double quotes. So if I wanted to put a single quote in here for some reason, I could put backslash single quote, backslash single quote. There it is. So there's an example of escape codes that we can use. And notice if I run this now, we get our quotes around it. Another common escape code that we want to use is a new line. So let's say, for example, that I want to say full name equals, and then I want to say Paul, and I'm going to put miscue. Now, if I print this and I say print full name, and I run this, notice how Paul miscue appears on one line. But what I can do is if I come in here and I put a backslash n in there, what the backslash n does is it indicates a new line. So backslash n means a new line. And so that's a way of indicating inside of a string someone pressing return. So if I run this again, notice how I get Paul and then I get miscue on a new line, because it's the way of showing and putting a new line into a string. So backslash n, new line escape code, very useful. Another escape code that's really useful is a backslash t. So a backslash t will insert a specific tab space. So if I have a table, for example, here, I might say 1 backslash t2 backslash t3. And then if I put backslash n backslash t and I say a backslash tb backslash tc, and now I run this, oh, what do I have here? I was just too quick on hitting execute there, but notice here how I get this kind of nice table format. Now, obviously, if you're building a program with a graphical user interface, you wouldn't use this, but this is a nice way of doing nice, consistent spacing. So one of the activities we're doing is we're building kind of an adventure game or a Mad Lib, and you might want to format your information. You can use this combination of backslash t's and backslash n's to do that. Another commonly used example of escape codes is to print out special characters using their hex or oct representation. So one thing that it's good to start to understand is that you can represent any character using a decimal value, a hexadecimal value, or an octal value. And on the surface you might not see why this is useful, but it actually is quite useful when you get into some more complicated programming techniques. So let's take, for example, this A here. And we come across this table and we say that A has the hexadecimal value of 41. So what that allows me to do is if I come in here and I print, I can put a \x. And what \x is it says this is an escape code, and it says the next two characters you see will be a hexadecimal value. And you are going to then convert that hexadecimal value into the character representation. So if I put 41 here and I run this, notice now I get an A. So I could, for example, spell my name if I wanted. So if I look, P is 50. So if I come back in here, I'm going to say 50 \, and then A. Oh, we already did A. Remember, if we come up to this A is number 41. 41. Oh, I need the X41 \x. We look for U. And so if we come along here, there's U. U is 55 \x. And then L. And we look for L. And L is right here at 4C. And we say 4C. And now if I run this, I get my name, but I'm actually representing it using these hexadecimal values. Now on the surface right now, this might seem like a lot of work to simply write out my name, but this actually becomes really useful when you get into some more advanced programming techniques. So those are escape codes. They're really useful. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.